Hi, everyone, and welcome to this exciting early sneak peek of the AAG's new website that'll be launching later this spring. Let's start with a bit of housekeeping. This session is being recorded so that all members will have a chance to enjoy a glimpse of the website later this week. But today, you all will get to participate in a Q&A at the end of this session. Feel free to use the chat for feedback. However, we'll be using Zoom's Q&A feature for any questions you want to ask our presenter. Just post your questions within that Q&A tab at any time during the presentation. Also, feel free to upvote any of those questions. We'll be monitoring the Q&A and we'll answer the top questions at the end of the session. And now, for an introduction by our Executive Director, Gary Langham.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Let me take this opportunity to thank Becky, who just launched the introduction, for her leadership and dedication to this project. As the staff person responsible for the website at AAG, she was more than eager for us to update all our online systems. And over the past year or so, Becky has overseen all aspects of this project, and she has worked tirelessly to make it a reality. So thank you, Becky. I would also like to recognize and thank Justin Schutz, who's on the call too, for his remarkable early design ideas and very clear thinking that helped us launch the request for proposals. And his remarkable sharp eye for design details and the many interviews he did with staff really helped us with our initial concept pieces and greatly accelerated our handoff to Free Range, our web designer. During the evaluation of all the different web agencies, when we were doing the selection process, Free Range immediately stood out for its creative and innovative approach to storytelling. And they have this amazing, versatile, talented team, a few of which you'll meet today. They have all these impressive and modern web designs, and of course had rave reviews from clients. And this made the choice really, really clear. And we've been impressed all along and pleased with Free Range every step of the way. For this project, from the very start, our vision was to center you, the geographers, and your work on the website. We wanted a site that helped our community grow, to be able to share your ideas with each other and to easily find any information that you needed. And all this, of course, had to work seamlessly for you, so it just kind of happened magically. So without further ado, let's hand it over to Free Range's Paul Hammond for a sneak peek and a tour of the new website. This is the very first look anyone's had at this. So Paul, take it away.
Terrific. Yeah, and first off, just want to say thank you to Gary, Becky, Justin, and really all of the AAG staff for being great partners throughout the process thus far. There's a certain amount of trust that really needs to be established with a project like this to not only take a leap of faith to do something different, but to really take a risk so AAG can stand out among the noise on the internet, and really while staying true to the brand's rich history, and really thinking about that and making sure that that's at the forefront. So we're really excited about the new brand identity that AAG will be rolling out in the coming months, and I'm thrilled to share a sneak peek with you today of what that's going to look like. So I will go ahead and start sharing my screen. And can you enable screen sharing for me? I see the option, but it says it's disabled for me. There we go. Thank you. So before sharing the new site, you may recognize this site here, and I thought this might be a good place to start just to show a little bit of contrast here. But I will go ahead and dive into the new website. And so we're really excited about this project and really bringing a story to life through the brand presence here. And we're really focused on engaging all audiences, both new audiences and experienced audiences. We want the site to be clean, bringing in bright colors and imagery to bring the brand to life. And we focus a lot on creating a user experience that is enjoyable with intuitive elements such as the navigation drop downs. So you can find exactly what you're looking for very quickly. Things like site-wide search, so you can search across the site, where it's not overwhelming or overbearing, but very easy to find what you're looking for. So we're also really focused on meeting scrutinous accessibility standards to build an inclusive experience, even for those with disabilities or those that are visually impaired. So this is an important focus point of the website, but really bringing these bright colors to illustrate call to actions and really building the site in a flexible, modular way that will support AAG's new approach to content and provide members with areas to explore the types of content that aligns with their interest areas. So we've got some call out cards here below the hero. We're really inviting people to come in and discover the community. There's a renewed focus on the community, as Gary alluded to, and the people that make up AAG will be a central focus of the new website and platform, bringing in community members, allowing people to connect, and really giving members the opportunity to self-select interest areas so that they can see the content that they want to see when they come to the site. And so as I keep scrolling down here, there will be more tailored content for events based on specific interest areas and targeted call to actions throughout. So whether you're a new visitor that may want to become a member, or if you're an existing member, you're going to see different content on the site depending on your interest areas and your status as a member or a non-member. So with this focus on community, we wanted to make it really easy for audiences to self-identify. So whether you're a student, an educator, a practitioner, a partner, or you want to search specific interest groups, that's all very easy to find. And so as an example, we'll take a look at, what an educator page might look like. But the idea is that it'll be easy for educators to share examples with their students, share links with their classes in a way that they don't have to manually curate the content for their classes, but we actually make it really easy for educators to come in, find the resources for their students and share out those links with the students. So we're curating the content for specific audiences so that they don't have to do that. As an upcoming phase, as I mentioned, users will be able to log in and select their interest areas, be able to update their account based on those interest areas to serve, so that we can serve them more tailored content and help them connect to the people and the valuable resources, as well as to each other, so that they can really get the most out of the platform. Another area of the site that we'll look at is the About Us page. We have really thought about this as an intro for for new visitors mostly who are looking to learn more about AAG, but maybe returning members or folks who just want to reacquaint themselves with who AAG is. This is an opportunity to really highlight the new mission and vision statements for the organization and really think about how we present what the member benefits are and what the offers are for those that are interested in joining. We also want to make it easy for people who aren't members to still engage and still get those free resources that may lead to further engagement. So this is, of course, some new introductory language and opportunities for folks to get involved, and a lot of new elements to the site that make it a lot more visually interesting and ways for people to get involved. One other page we'll look at is the advocacy page. And this is where we're really wanting to elevate AAG's focus on advocacy, making it easy for the team to launch and manage campaigns, to create awareness around these important issues. So with a clear hierarchy, the red on these cards is really intended to surface the urgency around these issues. So as you can see, there's a clear hierarchy change on these style pages where we can use that more urgent color red to really surface the importance of these issues. One other page that we can go ahead and look at, as the site is still a work in progress and will continue to grow, is we can take a look at the why don't we take a look at the students page as an example of how students can also engage with free guide and ultimately call to actions to become a member and the resources that that students may want to find when they come to the website. So we're really excited about the direction, and we definitely want to open up the opportunity to collect feedback from all of you as well. So I will just go ahead and share this final slide, and that there are two ways for you to provide feedback or ideas. So if you have suggestions or ideas or any features that you think would be really important on the new website when it goes live, you can go to freerange.com/AAG-feedback, or you can email feedback@aag.org. Or reach out to me directly at paul@freerange.com, and we'd be happy to take your feedback into consideration, figure out where it works into our pipeline of work, and hopefully have it be a part of the new website. So I definitely welcome that. And aside from that, we can definitely open up to some questions and answers.
I've got a question, Paul. Let's see.
Great. Maybe I'll go back to the site.
There's a question. The new content plan sounds interesting. What will the new blog post look like?
Yeah, good question. So we are in the process of building out the blog index, but the blogs are going to be very flexible in that they're going to support video, audio, really any type of media that that we want to be able to include in the blog. So there will be a very robust filtering system, and just to kind of give you an idea of, as you can see, the posts aren't loading into the index yet, but there will be a robust filtering system so that users can kind of self-select the areas of interest that are most pertinent to them. And a lot of this will be around related content and recommended reading. And so let me go to a blog post. I think I can just probably click on one of these, and we can see how it's really designed for legibility, and being kind of a 2/3 centered kind of medium style post where we can really start to embed and incorporate some nice stories on the site, and there will be share icons and all of that on the side. But you can see how the different content types will be tagged here, and you'll be able to see related content down at the bottom of each post based on those content tags.
Great. Let's see. Another question. Someone says, I noticed the login button. What happens when I log in?
Yeah, so great question. This is going to be a single sign-on experience. So for any members who have a login, you'll be able to log in, and with the new site, you'll have the opportunity to choose what your interest areas are, and then you'll be able to connect with folks based on those interest areas, as well as being able to find recommended reading based on those interest areas. That won't necessarily exclude you from being able to find other content on the blog index itself, but there's also going to be the community platform where you can actually start conversations with other folks, and you'll be able to see relevant events. So really, there is a dynamic content piece where when you're logged in, we're not going to want to show to members call to action such as become a member, and instead we'll replace that content with other relevant information and resources. So it will be a dynamic experience based on your selection or your options or your interest areas as a user, and a lot of great interactions with being able to control those settings, but also being able to connect with others in the community. And of course, I should mention, being logged in, you'll get access to career search. You'll be able to potentially, if you are a job poster, you'll have the opportunity to post jobs. Also, you'll have the opportunity to request to become an author. So if you want to publish something on the AAG website, you'll have the opportunity to submit that request with the AAG team. Once they've had the opportunity to proofread your contribution, you'll then be able to publish that to the AAG website as well. So it'll be it'll really give that opportunity for everybody in the community to contribute to AAG's resources.
Let's see. If I sent this site to students, what's the best place for them to start?
Yeah, so students will have their own kind of designated landing page that they can find what they're looking for. And so that actually makes it really easy to share the URL with the slug/students at the end, and they'll be able to go directly to this page. This site is password protected, so at the moment you cannot go here, but once this is live, you'll be able to go to /students, aag.org/students, and you'll be able to give the students access to the resources that they need directly from a page like this. So there will be a link to a resource library with content specifically for students, and they can further narrow down if they have a specific subject or interest area that they want to focus in on.
Excellent, thanks. Will there be links to specialty and affinity groups and AAG committees from this site? Or is that something that will be behind the login?
Yeah, you'll be able to learn a little bit more about the specialty and affinity groups from a high level. So if you want to get information on the specialty or affinity groups, you'll be able to do that as a public visitor on the site. And that will help AAG present some of the different types of content that the user would have access to as a member. But of course, as a member, you'll get all access. You'll get full access to all of the features within those groups to be able to connect with other members of those groups and search jobs within those within specific groups and other things of that nature, other benefits that you would get as a logged in member.
Will there be a store or a swag tab?
Yeah, absolutely. So as AAG continues to produce swag or any paid resources or things of that nature, there will be a storefront, and it will likely it'll likely have call to actions throughout the website, and will probably live somewhere in the navigation directly as well.
See, some of us are both students and educators. Will our experience on the website be curated to both?
Can you ask the question again, Becky?
Some folks it's almost like combined. They're students and educators. And so will their experience be curated to both of those things?
Yeah, so potentially. And so the idea is that if you select yourself as a student and an educator, you would get both types of curated content would ultimately feed into your experience. So you have the opportunity to associate yourself with multiple groups, as well as different audiences. So you could select, I'm a student and an educator, and I am in 10 different interest groups, and that will ultimately segment those different content types. So you would see all of those different content types.
Great, great questions.
Yeah.
AAG is an academic society, and most of its members build their career on publications. Any justification not to have a publication tag?
Yeah, good question. And maybe that is something for us to think about in terms of the tags that we'll be using on the website. So the way that we have set up the different content types, it's definitely something that we can consider. If it's going to be a publication, or if we call it something else, that's something that we'll we'll work on defining the terminology for that with AAG and making sure that we have the right lexicon or right taxonomies to really serve those filtering functions. And so if publications are something that AAG audiences are filtering by, then that would absolutely be something that would make sense to include as a tag. So I think that's really good input and definitely something for us to think about as we build out those taxonomies and those tagging systems.
That's great. And I remember you, us sort of chatting about it in the submit your work kind of area too. So
Yep. So there will be some options that users or members will have when you want to submit a publication to choose from existing tags that AAG is using.
great. Let me scroll through a little more. And a little bit related, let's see, about journals. Could you talk about where and how we can see them?
Yeah, so journals will be shared from the knowledge base. And so when you go to knowledge and click on journals, that will take you to essentially the index page that will be pre-filtered by journals. So you'll have all of your journals in one place and you'll be able to find them there. We're working on bringing all of that content in from the old site to the new site and making sure that it's all formatted to look like the rest of the new site. So we're excited to roll out all of the content, including the journals, with the new site.
Excellent. Let's see, I'll scroll through a little more. Thanks for all the great questions. When you're using the term educator, do you mean K through 12 or university faculty? Will there be a different drop down for them? And yeah.
That's a good question. At this phase, we have not considered breaking out educators into different segments. So we acknowledge that there are different needs for different types of educators, depending on where their students are. And so that might be something to think about, and really good input might be something for us to think about on the educators page, so that you can kind of self-identify as a university professor versus a K through 12 professor, which may have different interests and different types of resources. So that's something that we can definitely think about breaking down into further granularly organized content.
Let's see. Scroll a little more here. Thanks for your patience. Let's see. Regional divisions of the AAG, where will that be located?
Regional groups will be within the community dropdown, and so we're making it easy to find regional groups in two ways. You'll either be able to find it from a list view where you can search by location, or you'll be able to browse on a map to be able to find exactly where where there may be a regional group near you.
Excellent. Let's see.
We also, I will say on regional groups, we also want to make it possible for regional groups to create their own landing pages as well. So, so that's something that as the, as the regional groups, grow, or as a regional group wants to increase its online presence, there will be that opportunity to create a landing page for your regional group as a way of further connecting with folks in that group.
Great, thanks. Let's see, is there a networking and chatting functionality on the new website?
There will be, and it will be built into the member portal. So that'll be part of the sign-in experience. So when you're logged into the site, you'll have access to that portal. You'll have access to all of the community groups where you'll be able to connect with other members and have those conversations.
Excellent. Let's see, for jobs in geography, will there be a map of where job openings are?
That is something that we are planning on integrating. So we'll pull in job locations, although they may not have specific addresses, they will have general locations. So for example, a job post may be in a specific city. We can show that the job will be in that city, although some jobs may be remote. So we'll have to think about where to show those on the map, but there will be different, similarly to the regional groups, you'll be able to find jobs based on location through list views or through map views.
Cool. Let's see, let me scroll through. Is there a way for local community groups to find geographers? So like faculty, researchers, grad students to contact for help with local environmental issues. And I wonder if that's a little bit about our advocacy, but in terms of a landing page to help those folks find those.
Yeah, good question. And so certainly as a member logged in, you will be able to, connect and find those groups. I think there should be other ways for non-members to be able to inquire. And so thinking about ways that folks can reach out to AAG with those kinds of questions and still get a little bit of information about those groups, I think that makes sense. We definitely want to make it easy for and make it friendly for the non-member as well. But at this stage, we're really thinking about members having access to those community groups. But I think that we can provide some kind of inquiry option for non-members to also reach out to AAG to inquire about those groups.
All right, let's see. Very exciting to see this preview. Where can we go to learn about recent and current AAG projects and programs involving and supporting geographers and the geography discipline?
Yeah, really good question. And so as we build out the knowledge base, the way we're thinking about this is we're thinking about this as a knowledge index. So everything will be searchable. Certainly you can search, use the site-wide search to search for things, but as we talked a little bit about when we talked about the blog index, that will really be more than a blog index in the sense that it's going to be a knowledge base where we're going to have stories, but we're also going to have other types of content and resources mixed in there so that you can, as a user, you can find everything in one place, but you can easily also filter and search for those types of specific content that you're looking for from within the knowledge base. So it'll be essentially like a large library of knowledge and resources.
Excellent. All right. Let's see. We've touched on journals and login, and now this question combines the two topics. Will the login page include journal links?
Yeah, so when you log in, you'll get access to all the member-only content, in addition to any public journals that may have been published. So there will be a visual indicator of sorts that will show you which content is for members only. And so you'll get access to all of that from within your dashboard. And there will be the opportunity to, once you're logged in as a member, there will be an opportunity to save or favorite journal posts for later, so that anytime you can go back to your account dashboard where you'll be able to see some of those things that you favorited in the past, as well as get suggested materials based on your interest areas.
Cool. Let's see. Let's see. This is a long one, so let me take it in real quick here. Okay, this is sort of a follow-up question concerning non-member access. Since geography is taught in elementary school and teachers may not be geographers, how might they get resources for their students to help us reach the next generation of future geographers as early as possible?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think that's something we want to think a little bit about because,
Yeah.
and I think this alludes to the question also earlier about different types of educators being in different segments and having different levels of knowledge. And so thinking about how to maybe break down some of the segments of the community that we've already broken down and break them down into further subsegments so that people can find more specifically the types of content that they would need to then empower their community or their class or whatever it might be to get involved. So if they're young kids and a teacher is looking for ways to engage their students in geography, there'll be, I think it makes sense to organize content based on based on that segment. So it basically it sounds to me like it's a very similar question to the one earlier about sort of breaking educators down into multiple subsegments, which I think is a smart thing to do.
Yeah, that's actually a great question and one that we'll appreciate thinking about a little bit more too. Yeah. Let's see. When will this wonderful upgrade be available? And they say, thanks for doing this finally.
Yeah, it's a good question. We're working very closely. Free Range and AAG are working very closely to get this ready to go live. There is a bigger lift that's happening with AAG systems as a whole. So the front end of the site, of course, is continuing to be developed, and the back end of the website is continuing to be developed so that everything is really modular and flexible and scalable, so the site can continue to grow even after going live. But we also want to make sure that we're integrating with with AAG's CRM or AMS or really account management system. And we want to make sure that it really does create that seamless login experience and that community platform experience. So there's still quite a bit that needs to be done from an integration perspective to make sure that all the systems are working together correctly. But we are hoping that the site will be at a place where it'll be ready to go live by middle end of May. So that is our target at the moment. And as you know, things may shift, but it is a realistic target. And we're hopeful that this will be available for everybody sometime in May.
Excellent. That's great. We're looking forward to it, definitely. Let's see. Gotta let's see. This is a little bit different and it might relate to our taxonomy, in the back end and relationships of content. But let's see, can you add a separate drop-down community sections for university faculty, graduate, undergraduate students, and K through 12 educators? We're very different groups with different needs. University faculty are often focused on research, journals, etc.
Well, this is great. I think that when we start to hear the same feedback numerous times, we know that there's valuable input there. So This is definitely something where we want to think about what the best user experience is in terms of information architecture and navigation. And so while we could break down this group into even more subsegments of the community, we may want to think about even having a secondary navigation on the educator site. So as I go to the educator's page, I can very quickly then select my area of interest, and that will change the content on the page based on that area of interest. So something that we will continue to think about strategically, but I appreciate the fact that we've heard this same bit of feedback a couple times now. And so it sounds like it's very important to distinguish educators based on, based on their focus area.
Yeah, that's great. Great insights. Let's see. Will future AAG conferences be accessed through this website?
Yeah, everything will be accessed through this website is the easy answer. So we're excited to really create a centralized, seamless experience where you'll be able to go to aag.org and you'll be able to see all upcoming events, conferences, webinars, everything through here, and be able to register and log in all through the same website.
Let's see, let me scroll a little bit more. Are there other questions? I'm checking. I'm trying to make sure I don't ask the same ones over, but also if we've still got some time if there are other questions too while I peruse this long list. So thanks for bearing with me. But I think we've covered them actually. Are there other
Great.
questions?
I'll just share this slide one last time here in case you didn't get a chance to have your question answered. Feel free to shoot us any questions or feedback. Tell us what's important to you. There's still time for us to really take your voice into consideration and really try to incorporate the features that will serve you best. So again, please, you can submit a form at freerange.com/aag-feedback or email feedback@aag.org, or you can email me directly, paul@freerange.com.
Great. We'll look forward to everyone's input. And we really appreciate your time today. And thanks to our panelists for all their help. And this is a really great project. So thanks to everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Becky, and thanks to everyone who joined, and look forward to reading any feedback that you guys submit to us.